Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wine and Dine with Mastro, where food and magic meet. I am your host, Tom Mastriani, and today we're going to be cooking one of my favorite foods. It's a comfort food. It's great when it's cold. It's great when it's not so cold, but pot pie. And we're going to be pairing it with some really great wines. I have 3 wines to pair it with today. We're going to start with the first one, which is the Talbot. So let me get that. This is a Talbot Cali Heart. And Cali Heart, it's a Chardonnay. It's Californian. And Cali Heart is actually named the daughter of the Vintner. Most likely will be very good. So let's open it. Don't ever be swayed by the twist top. They did a lot of research on that and found out that the twist top, it actually keeps the wine pretty fresh, and it'll last a fairly long time. So we're looking at this now. It's got a nice straw yellow color, and let's see how it holds up here. All right, so we're looking for the legs. We're looking for the amount of alcohol versus the amount of water. And you'll see the way that it ripples on top versus the way that the legs stream down on the sides, and that'll tell you how much alcohol is in there. And this doesn't seem to have too much in there. It's probably somewhere around 11 or so percent, 12%. So looks like it has a little bit of effervescence in there. Ooh, pineapple right off the top. That's nice. And slightly buttery. Ooh, really smooth, well balanced. The acidities or the acid in there is just right. It balances the sweetness, not too sweet. I'd say it's more on a dry side, and that's really nice. All right, that's going to be exciting. So that'll go really well with the pot pie. The cream, it'll cut the cream of the bechamel sauce that we're going to be making with the pot pie. So, all right, let's get down to making the pie. Out of the oven. Oh yeah. That's looking nice. All right, so we're going to cut this up. And I prefer white meat most of the time. And we could do dark meat also, but I think we'll forego the dark meat and just go white. All right, so we want to cut off this white meat first of all. So we'll cut it right down the middle, and then we'll pull this off. It's a little hot, so let's grab a set of tongs, pull this apart. So, yeah, you can always, this particular chicken, we pre-cooked, so, and you can actually, if you really wanted to, you could pick one up at the store and use that and cut out half the cooking process. We're also going to take the skin off of here. So we're just going to have just the white meat. So we're going to use this for our sauce because we're going to need the fat. So we're going to take most of this chicken and we're going to put it in a pot with the vegetable broth, and we're going to cook it down. We're going to boil it basically so we can get all the fat out of it. Then we're going to strain it off and add in our butter, and then we're going to make the bechamel. So let's take this over to the pot. And I like using vegetable broth. You could use chicken broth, but vegetable broth makes me feel a little bit better. So put that in there, and then we're going to cook this down. This way it'll break down all the fat, and it'll pull into the vegetable broth. All right. So we have the chicken in the pot right here, and this is going to start to boil, and it's going to release all its fats into the vegetable broth. All right, we're going to let this boil down, and now we're going to start cutting up the vegetables. All right. All right, so now we're also gonna take this skin and we're gonna put it in the pot also, because that's got a lot of flavor and fat in it. Oh, leftover piece. Usually I would just eat that, but we won't today. Now this is opened up for a little bit. It's been open for about 10 minutes now. And I'm still, fruit forward would be the pineapple. And then I'm getting a slight flavor of honeydew. You know, when you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you walk by a big patch of honeydew, that's what I'm smelling. It's beautiful. And let's get into the Mastro scale, which is my rating system of how to rate the wines. And we'll start with this tablet. But we start with 1, which is do not touch. So if it smells like a wet dog or it just doesn't have anything good going for it, wines can go bad. The air could get into the bottle, ruin it. So if it's just really bad, just 1 is do not touch. 2 is if you must. Okay, you're going somewhere, you're meeting a bunch of people, you get some wine, it's not very good. That's if you must. If you must drink it, you have to drink it. So then you've got 3, which is a safe bet. So you can buy it when you're going to, say, a party and you want to bring something halfway decent, but not break the bank. So you can go with a safe bet. And number 4 on my rating scale is a head turner. So, you know, all of a sudden you taste it and you're like, ooh, that was good. You know? So it caught your interest and it made you go back and have it again. So then another one would be 5, would be flirtatious, where it tempts you. You tasted it and then it comes back and you're like, ooh, I could go for that again. Or you think about it the next day and say, that was a good wine. So it's teasing you, it's bringing you in to taste it again. And then 6 would be gets you hot. You drink this wine, it explodes in your mouth. You're like, wow, that was amazing. So you're having, you know, just a great day and the wine just finished it off. You don't even worry about the meal. So that's a really good wine. And then 7 is orgasmic, and you're feeling like all pleasurable feelings. As soon as you drink that wine, your body's tingling, your throat's feeling really good, and the food that you just ate it with is just transforming into something magical. And that's what the show is about, where food and magic meet. I'm gonna pair some great wines with some great food, and you're gonna experience it with me. And you're gonna learn a lot, and you're gonna have some fun. So. First of all, let's cut up this chicken. It's cooled down a little bit, so I like fairly large pieces. So if we can cube it or just cut big pieces. You want to make sure you get all the bones out of here too. Pretty good. All right, so we're going to take these, put them aside. We're going to cut up our onion. We're going to stew the onion with the broth. I prefer a larger knife when I'm cutting my onions. You're not familiar with this technique? It's a real easy way of cutting up the onion. It's automatically diced. All right, so we got these chopped up, and now we're gonna put them in the pot. We're gonna separate this chicken from the broth, and then this way, then we're gonna put the onions in here. And we can use this later for something else, but for the pot pie. All right, so now we're gonna strain the chicken from the broth. Separate it. And then we're gonna put this back in the pot. We'll do something with that later. So I'm gonna switch this over. And now we're gonna add our onions to this and let them basically cook in the broth. You should always go for the big giant cutting board. I have this actually custom made. This is a great cutting board. And it's bamboo, and you always have to oil it. Make sure you oil your cutting boards. We're just going to cook this down. All right, until those onions get nice and soft. Now we want to add the butter while that's cooking. So we've got about half a stick of butter. That's going to add more fat content. So now I'm going to strain off those onions now that they're cooked, and we're going to pull them out of there. We got rid of the chicken, and we're just going to switch pots again. All right, so now we're going to strain this off one more time. Get the onions separated from the sauce, and then we're going to put in our flour and start making our cream sauce. Look at how nice those onions look. They're beautiful. Just almost transparent. They're great. So now we're going to add some flour to the sauce here, and we'll thicken it up. Now we're going to need about 6 tablespoons of flour. All right. So we want to whisk this in slowly. You don't want it to be clumpy. So we're going to whisk in about 6 tablespoons, give or take a little bit. And this is going to thicken up really nice. And now the fat mixed with the flour is coming out very thick. If you can see this, it's really thick. So now we're going to add in some heavy cream. And that's going to give us our creamy whiteness. Okay. So we're adding our cream. And that's about 3/4 of a quart. Okay, now we're going to cook this for a little bit, and it'll thicken up a little bit more. Don't bring it up too high in heat, because then you'll break the cream and then ruin the whole thing, which you definitely don't want to do. All right, well, this is heating up, and now we're going to get the next wine, which is a La Crema from Sonoma Coast. This is a 2016 Chardonnay. 2016, 2013, 2014 were all really, really good years. Almost the perfect climate for certain regions of California wine. And when they look for a perfect climate, they want it to be a long growing season where it's not too wet. You know, if you don't have a lot of rain. If you have a lot of rain, then the grapes get too fat and it's too watery. You don't want so much water in there. You want the grapes to ripen on the vines when the vine is almost not really starved for water, but you want it to be as dry as possible, but not too dry where the plant can't live. In certain areas of California, especially on the coast, you get a fog that comes in every day in the morning, and it keeps everything nice and cool, and then by the mid-afternoon, the fog burns off and it warms up, and it's just a perfect growing time for grapes. They just love that, so, and it makes them just flourish. Okay. Nice tight pop. You always want that, because if it just pulls out or the cork falls apart, it could be a bad wine. Or it could be a bad cork, which spoiled the wine because air got in there, or the cork just, you know, there's a term, it's called the wine got corked, which means the cork was bad, it had some sort of problem with it was dirty, could have been anything, and it'll ruin the wine. Chardonnay, similar colors. This is a little bit darker in color. Let's see how it holds up on the glass. Yeah, I'd say there's a little bit more alcohol here. So this is about 13.5% alcohol, which is pretty high for a Chardonnay. So we would call that hot. So this looks really good on the glass. I'm surprised because you can really see there's less water because you're not getting that cascading on the top, and you're getting long legs here, really long, thin legs. It's really performing well in the glass, even before you start to drink it. Totally different than the Talbot. This has apricot, really full forward apricots aromas. Similar creaminess, really full. Wow, there's a lot going on there. You can actually taste the apricots. You can taste the very mild acidity to it, so it's not astringent at all. And almost there's maybe almost a grapefruit to it. So I'm getting the apricot out of here. Grapefruit and melon, like almost a cantaloupe. Yeah, that smells really, really nice. So let's see. Creaminess, kind of fruity, a little florally, and very light tannins. But this will go really well with any kind of cream sauce also. It'll contrast and complement it at the same time. I'm gonna clean this up here and then chop up the vegetables, get them in the pot, and then start baking it in the oven. All right, so we'll see you in a minute. All right, now that we have everything chopped up, we're gonna combine it in the pot with the bechamel sauce, and then we're gonna put it in the ramekins, put the puff pastry on top, and then we're gonna cook it. So let's do that now. So look at this bechamel. It's really creamy, really nice and thick. It's beautiful, wonderful. Now we're gonna add in everybody. Gonna add in the carrots. Okay. Some of the peas. Might not use too many peas, but we'll use a good amount of those. And a potato. And of course, the chicken. What's a chicken pot pie without chicken? Now we're gonna add a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. Fresh ground pepper. And then we're gonna put it into each of these ramekins. Let's put it on the stove for a minute. So we have to cut our puff pastry. So this is the most important part. Not the most important part, but really important part. So puff pastry is another magical kind of thing. Where right now it looks kind of boring. You can do anything with puff pastry. In this case, we're gonna top our ramekins with this. So, lay it on the top, and we're gonna cut around it. Symmetry is not really too important, as long as you get it covered. So we're gonna drape it over the top. All right, now we're gonna add the bechamel sauce to the ramekin, or the pot pie filling, which it has now become. It's awesome. All right, now I can fill it all the way. Look at how beautiful that is. Wonderful. It's incredibly creamy, so this is going to be a treat. It is a treat. All right, so let's see how these look. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's pull those out. Well, let's pull these out too. These are the leftover pieces. They're kind of like puff pastry tortillas. And since we have some leftover pot pie filling, we can dunk those. So, all right, here we go. Let's see what this looks like on the inside. So, nice and flaky on top. The puff pastry is the bomb right there. So, let's just, oh yeah. Grab it in there. And then we want to pull out. Oh yeah. Look at that incredibly creamy bechamel sauce. So and it's incredibly hot. That's just amazing. That is the best pot pie you will ever have, ever, guaranteed. All right, let's pair it with another wine. We're gonna get a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, Sunday Bay, okay, from Marlborough. And this twist top is, this is 2017. Not sure if that was a good year or a great year. Oh, look at that. Very, very, very light in color. Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay is always going to be a lot richer, darker in color. Okay? I actually was in a restaurant once and they brought me, I asked her for a Chardonnay, they brought me a Pinot Grigio or something similar in color to this. And as soon as the waitress walked away, I was like, that's not a Chardonnay. It's really nice. Nice finish, nice flavor. The acids are really smooth. I think this will go very well with this pot pie. See how it goes with the cream sauce. Now we're going to try all three wines with this to see which one pairs the best. It doesn't necessarily mean that one wine is better than another. It just means for this particular dish, this particular wine will go best with it. So let's find out. It's so good. All right. It cut right through it. I mean, you had the cream sauce, a lot of flavor, the peas, the carrots. That wine cut right through it. So it kind of rinsed my palate right off, and all I get is wine. So let's try the next wine. I wouldn't say that's a great pairing. That's, I mean, it tasted okay, but it definitely didn't do the meal justice. So let's see. Let's see how this one goes. Okay. This is the Talbot. Okay, a Chardonnay definitely will go better with this. The creaminess of the chard, the creaminess of the cream, that goes really well. Nicely well-rounded. So we'll put that off to the side and we'll have a head-to-head with the two Chardonnays. So the Talbot, very good, really clean, great finish, long finish, and it's complementing the meal just perfectly. Just trying to get another piece of chicken here. Complements it well, a little drier. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice pairing also. Let's just go back because we really gotta check these out head to head. So, it's a lot of work doing this pairing. All right, looks like the Talbot's the best for the pot pie. I mean, it's really creamy, it balances really well. It finishes off the palate just perfectly. It's really a good pairing. And then the La Crema did great, and the Sauvignon Blanc did what it was supposed to do. It cut right through. Okay, so now you have an idea of how the wines go with the food, how they cut through the meal or complement the meal. Thanks again for joining me on another episode of Wine and Dine with Mastro, where food and magic meet. I'm your host, Tom Mastriani, and I'll see you next time. But in the meantime, you can join me on my website at mastrotv.com, where you can see more great wines and more great recipes. So, see you next time. Salud.